Welcome to another episode of Smart Tips. We're the team at SmartSearch on the business development, sales, and marketing side. We have over 60 years experience, mainly Sylvia and I, in the industry. And Tyler was actually, his dad being the founder of SmartSearch has been in it his whole life. So today we're talking about a topic, and we want your feedback for those of you watching this, that Tyler came up with, which is the generational communication differences in the workforce. So Tyler, let me hand off to you and you can introduce it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul. Really excited to talk about this topic today. It really hits true for myself over here, being a millennial and kind of growing up in the new norm for the different work environments, and kind of tying into the current dreaded Great Resignation. There's a lot of the older generations that are leaving the workforce, but this is an exciting time as we're welcoming in a lot of new generational talent to the workforce. And so we really need to adapt the ways that we're communicating with them, and also adapt the ways that our workplace can support them. 75% of the millennial and Gen Z generations prefer remote or hybrid work. I think that COVID really kind of fast forwarded our workplace, and we're doing a really great job of kind of accommodating to this new normal. And then with that, also communicating with them is a lot different. The Gen Xers, they really like to communicate by email, and the millennials really like to communicate by text, whereas the Gen Zs really like to communicate by chatbot and chat tools. So just kind of quicker messaging is becoming the new normal, and kind of getting out there and outreach to them is starting to become a lot more popular. So not only giving them the flexibility, but then giving them the communication tools that they prefer is a way that we can adapt and kind of cater towards the new norm with this newer generation coming into the workplace. Along with that as well, the 9-to-5 job has always been kind of the gold standard for a lot of corporate entities. But some statistics that I just read from a Deloitte study showed that 36% of the millennials and Gen Zs actually prefer the 9-to-5 jobs. So that's a big proportionate that prefer a job that's a lot more flexible for them. A lot of them are working potentially 2 jobs with the cost of everything going up with inflation, and they're in school still. So having a job that is flexible with the hours, or even just giving them an assignment that they can do and then giving them a due date, kind of like a school assignment, I think that that's really a great way to kind of help ensure that they are producing for everyone, for the staffing agencies, and also just bringing them into the workplace and kind of introducing them to deadlines and new ways to work. So, no fear with the older generation going out. The new generation is here and they're ready to work, but just in a different way.
Yeah. Sylvia, any thoughts?
Well, it was funny, when we were preparing for today's talk about this, I had a conversation earlier with an HR guy, and we were talking about fall off and ghosting, and how the communication, there's this gap, right, between how he's trying to communicate with them and what the candidates are doing. And my first thought was, you mentioned this new generation coming into the workplace. Maybe they just don't know how to behave, right? Because this, you think about it, like people that were maybe in the workforce for 2 or 3 years, then the pandemic came, none of that was normal. Like they hadn't established like a baseline of normality yet. So they're used to communicating in a different way. I think one solution to that is use your technology, know what their preferred communication method is, but get commitment, right? Set up a follow-up call and get commitment that, okay, we're going to reconnect on this day at this time, and then, reach back out to them using the same channel that's their preferred channel. So meeting them where they are is, I think, one solution to trying to bridge that gap between what the candidate expects, what you expect, and what the lines of communication should look like. Like, we talk a lot here just about setting expectations in software. Like, how does it work? How can you get it work for you? I think you need to look at the individual like software in a way that, what do they need? Right? How can you best accommodate them and their schedules and so forth? And part of that is just meeting them where they are and letting them know what you want them to do, what you expect, and what you can do for them.
Yeah, all good points. I think you really hit the nail on the head. For this communication side, as Tyler alluded to, there's all different types of generational gaps in the workforce today. But from a communication standpoint, meeting them in the mode of communication they want to be communicated with. I have a Gen Zer. My daughter's 23 years old. I cannot get her to read email. She doesn't want to read email. She doesn't like reading email. She actually doesn't even like talking on the phone. I don't know the last time I actually called her and dialed her number and got her on the phone. We talk via, I'm not Apple. I talk to her on Facebook Messenger is how I communicate with her. I don't have FaceTime. And that's our mode of communication. So, but Gen Z, let alone Gen Alpha, which is 2010 or later, which are growing up in the metaverse and all different types of communication, they want to be communicated with how they want to be communicated with. What a quandary for today's recruiting technology, because most of it's so focused on email and the MailChimp lists and things like that. And maybe there's SMS, which we know at SmartSearch we have, but we're going to have to, inside of talent acquisition, get better about accessing candidates where they want to be met. A lot of it happens in LinkedIn, but how many Gen Z, let alone Gen Alpha, are really in LinkedIn? They kind of curse those things because it's their parents' technology. So I think we're going to have to get better in the industry about meeting the candidates and the workers, and just in general, these different generations that work for us. Tyler, any closing thoughts on it?
Yeah, Bill, myself over here, I am kind of a borderline millennial and Gen Z, and I really prefer text messaging. I think it's just a quicker way of communicating. Emailing, you kind of have to get up, you set up your digital signature. It's kind of a whole process to access your emails and send them out. And I think that's why a lot of these younger generations are more interested in these kind of IM type of things, because it's a lot easier for them to access. They can save their contacts, they don't have to type in a very long email address. They can just type in a quick 7-digit phone number, or 7-digit phone number, 10-digit phone number. And it's just a lot faster and easier for them to do that. And then going on to your point about the metaverse, that's a place where their community is engaging with them. So there's a lot of Discord channels that they can be on. And it's just a great way for them to share content and soak in new content and talk to people that are relating to them. So we really need to do a better job of kind of shifting the ways that we communicate to cater to this new generation.
All good points. So Smart Tips watchers, we want to start a dialogue with you. What are your generational issues that you're seeing at your workforce, whether it be recruiting or just in managing productivity, et cetera? So let us know. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of Smart Tips.